What's up, guys? Welcome back to episode 84, I believe, of the Rip City Rundown podcast. It is now almost 2 weeks out from the NBA draft, which is kind of wild. I didn't realize it was that close. But obviously, this past week, we've had some topics to talk about, from team aspects to ownership aspects to more draft talk, and then we'll end it off with some more personal things. But before we get into it, I want to remind you guys that this episode and this podcast is sponsored by MyBookie. For those of you that don't know what MyBookie is a sports betting website, and we have been partnered with them ever since the beginning of May. And the NBA Finals, as you're watching this, Game 3 is tonight. I think we'll probably give a best bet by the end of the pod, so make sure to stay tuned for that. We are 10-1 in our last 11 best bets. So again, if you're putting down money, putting down 1 unit on every play, we're up probably in the 8, 9, 10 units in the last couple of days. But of course, MyBookie, you can bet on NBA. You can bet on right now. Tennis is going on right now. We've got Djokovic versus Alcaraz in the semifinals of the French Open, I believe. So you can go bet on that. Baseball, hockey, that's the Stanley Cup playoffs right now. So you can get on all of that and use code RIPCITY when signing up. And you can get up to a $1,000 welcome bonus, which is a lot of money, and that's not cheap money. That is good money that you could put on bets. And even, I got to mention, you can bet on the NBA draft. You can bet on who's going number 2, who's going number 3. If you think the Blazers will take Scoot, go bet it. Go put your money where your mouth is. And again, use code RIPCITY when signing up. Bet anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Link is in the top comment. I always stumble over those words. West, how are you doing? It is just us two. Cody is not with us. He's bearing down here the final stretch of finals. So
yeah, we Cody deserved a week off. We given him some paid leave, if you will. He's got to grind that organic chemistry. I'm doing good. I'm getting more excited by the day as the draft, which is kind of the big event of the summer here, is getting closer and closer. In the meantime, just to keep my I'd like to say the draft is the entree, and all the news that's coming out are like little appetizers. We got the Jody Allen, Phil Knight situation, which we'll touch on. Obviously, Scoot's been working out. We'll touch on, just news about what the number 3 pick, who can be involved, who can't be, when we might deal, who we might deal, when we might deal. All that's little appetizers. Just, it's filling me up, but it's keeping me hungry. So I'm still on the edge of my seat here, and I will continue to get closer to the edge as the weeks go on to the draft.
I would say I'm on the edge of my seat too, but I feel like that would almost be lying to you, because at this point I'm like, everything that comes out, I'm not going to believe it. I'm not going to take it to heart.
Screen.
And I'm going to just wait until, what is it going to be, June 22nd, that Thursday night when the NBA draft is going on, and specifically when we are on the clock. And I think that's what we can touch on first, because I think we thought last year's draft was about as big as it gets when it comes to Portland possibly being active, given the fact they were trying to trade for OG or any other guy for that 7th pick. We were kind of in the same situation last year. Not as, I would say, likely to trade it, but the odds were still high, and we did that live stream and we were pumped. We ended up drafting the 7th pick, but even with drafting Shaedon Sharpe, it still felt like it was an eventful night just with everything that was going on. It's going to be that times 10 this year, because I still think it is more likely that the Blazers trade this pick. And if they do, all reports and I love how I'm saying all reports, even though I'm just saying don't believe all the reports, but everything is saying that the pick, if it's going to be traded, it's going to be traded while it's on the clock, because the team that's trading for it wants to know who they can get at 3,
Which is fair.
even with all the Charlotte Hornets rumors saying they will take Brandon Miller, that could be a smokescreen. So you want to confirm it. And by the way, it's not 10 minutes on the clock like the NFL. It's only 5 minutes. So
that's true. But what I will say about that is it makes sense why teams want to do that, because this draft class is separated into, at least the first round, into 2 categories, and it's the top 3 and then the rest of the draft. So Blazers with the number 3 pick, like, if say the Blazers were going to draft the pick, everyone in the world would know who they were taking. So like you said, if Brandon Miller goes 2, teams are guaranteed to get Scoot. I think teams want to see that guaranteed, because some teams might be more interested in the pick if Brandon Miller's available compared to Scoot, and teams will probably call, and that will all happen within 5 minutes. Joe Cronin will be extremely busy. That'll be a hectic 5 minutes that determines this team's future, just to put it bluntly.
I have to think that Cronin, if he does intend on trading the pick, he's got a couple deals like not confirmed, but lined up in a way that he's not just like on a whim.
Scrambling.
Like he's having conversations right now. You
of course,
like throw a team out there like the Raptors. They could be like, "We will trade you Pascal Siakam, but only if Scoot's available." Those conversations have probably happened. But I feel like at the same time, again, this could just be like, just I don't know what's the phrase, drinking the Kool-Aid, but like watching the Scoot workout, it's like they look like they love Scoot. That could be Joe Cronin doing an excellent job at just like really talking about Scoot like he really loves him, and all the videos that are surfacing of Scoot and Joe talking at the workout. But that's the thought that excites me, but also scares me a ton.
I think the Blazers kind of, at least Joe Cronin and staff, they're kind of looking at this as a win-win situation. We are either drafting a potential franchise player, or we are going to trade for another franchise player to pair with Dame. So they're seeing it as a win-win. Now, obviously, and I'm writing an article about this right now, but the Blazers haven't had great success over their franchise history of drafting in the top 5, let alone the top 3. 1984, 2007, ring a bell. Yep, MJ, KD, both not in Portland because we made stupid choices. This one feels different to where I feel like the Blazers are more forced to trade the pick just because your arguably your best player ever in franchise history has only a few years left in his prime, and he deserves a chance. And you're not going to do how do I say this? The team might be better off drafting Scoot. The team might be better off drafting Scoot in 8 years. The team might be in a better place, but are they in a better place in 2 years, which is when Dame needs them to be ready? And Dame has earned that right to kind of call the shots because he has kept this franchise afloat both on and off the court.
Look, I think unless Dame has a crazy mindset change and we plan on somehow playing 3 guards like that, I don't think there's a way that Dame is on this team if we draft Scoot specifically. Like, okay, that might be extreme, but
no, I know what you're saying.
Where's Scoot getting his minutes?
Think about it.
Dame's playing a ton.
Draft Scoot.
You talk about how Shaedon needs to get a ton of minutes. Despite Scoot being big, he's not big. He's not tall. 6'2".
Well, we talked about this in previous podcasts about how people who want to trade Dame need to, stop and, let Dame have a legitimate chance to win a championship. However, those people who are saying trade Dame, it's an intriguing option because not only are you drafting his replacement, I mean, it's very difficult. You're not going to replace Damian Lillard. Like, if you think Scoot is going to be
probably not being a top 75 player of all time.
No, odds are he's not. He can be a pretty darn good point guard though. And you can re-up and re-stack at other positions, if you will, by trading the absolute house for Dame. I know teams would absolutely do that, but it's just the Blazers have put themselves in a position, and they've also talked and have told fans and told the city that we are competing for Dame. So it'd look kind of stupid if they went against their word behind everyone's back and drafted Scoot and traded Dame, a la Jay Monahan and the PJ Live stuff, because what happened today.
Yeah, that's
we can save that for the for the after show if you all want to stick around.
Yeah, something I compared this situation to. Now it's obviously not as extreme because Scoot is more of a is a better prospect than this guy I'm comparing. But I'm kind of comparing it to the Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love situation. Like Aaron Rodgers is old. He's obviously was older in 2020, but he's coming off an MVP season. They still draft his replacement quarterback instead of trying to get him help. That obviously made Aaron Rodgers feel the type of way.
I agree.
Sorry,
I was just gonna say if the Blazers draft Scoot, you're telegraphing that you are starting to become okay with not having Dame in Portland. I think that's a wild thing to do because you can't, no one, even Victor Wembanyama is not guaranteed. I know all these people are saying he's a failure if he's not a top 10 player of all time, but even he is not
The odds are against that.
Odds are against him to
hard.
do that, especially top 10 player. Not odds are against him to be a top player in the league. I mean, maybe that might be, we can debate that statement, but the point is these top 75 players all time don't just you grow on trees. It's not like freaking you can't just grow it. You can't plant it and it just like I don't know.
Look, every time we say that, there is the argument, and it's a valid argument. Like, well, let's just rebuild and have a longer window. And sure, I think both avenues are risky. You don't win a championship without taking risk. You don't compete for a championship without taking risks.
I agree.
I just think if you are drafting Scoot, you're telling Dame, we have our future. We want you still, but like it wouldn't make sense for you to be here. They're never going to force Dame out. At the end of the day, it's going to be him.
And even if it's behind the scenes, it's Portland like basically forcing Dame's hand. Dame's still gonna be the one that has to physically ask because that would look horrible for the Blazers. The other thing I want to say quick is, what was I going to say? I was going to say that yes, both options look attractive, but to me they're the same thing. It's, do you want to draft Scoot, rebuild, and compete in 7 years, or do you want to get this right, trade the number 3 pick correctly, and contend in now?
I agree.
Now you can argue you're not really.
Here's the flip side of this coin that I struggle with. I think it'll be hard to get a great offer. Here's the kicker. I like using that statement. Like the Blazers might end up drafting it, and it could be after Joe Cronin tried hardest to try to get a good deal. But I'm going to get mad at Portland if they end up trading this pick for OG Anunoby straight up, even though that's their attempt to do it. They might not have like other teams might not be willing to do what we feel like we need to do. So
I agree.
I don't envy Joe Cronin's position. He's in a terrible position. I think he would 100% take a championship with Dame over a championship in 3 years, obviously, but that's just obviously an extremely risky thing to do.
Yep.
I hate we're talking about this because I still think it's extremely unlikely that Dame is.
No, I don't think he is either.
If we do take the pick.
I think we've shared our thoughts on this.
Why does Scoot have to be a guard?
Look, and this conversation could be pointless in 2 months when Charlotte drafts Scoot.
Yeah.
Because who knows at this point? The only sure thing is that the Blazers are drafting 3rd and Wemby's going number 1. That's the only two constants in this whole process.
Not necessarily drafting 3rd.
Good catch in my language there. But yeah, that's an interesting debate that will be debated and talked about all the way up until those 5 minutes when we're physically on the clock, because who knows? If I was a betting man, I've already said this, I think we trade the pick.
And also from Sean Highkin's article that he had recently, where he had a draft guy on, he reminded people that draft picks don't get traded. Like, you normally don't trade your lottery pick before the draft. Like before the draft, like days before the draft. Like
it's usually on draft night.
It's going to be draft night. The last time a pick.
That's how the Blazers got Aldridge.
Was a couple days before, and that was when Boston fleeced Philly, when Philly traded up to get Markelle instead of staying in 3 and getting Tatum.
Yeah, but I mean that's how the Blazers got Aldridge in 06 or 05.
Yeah. Oh, PC's coming in. Producer Cash, how you doing? Let's shift gears here to a reason why. Now, I don't know how these things relate, but the whole ownership situation. So the Wall Street Journal, I did a video on this. The Wall Street Journal dropped an article just about the entire ownership just situation and how Jody Allen currently holds the team while Phil Knight's trying to buy the team. And I made a video, might have been a little reactionary. I think I can kind of control my thoughts a little more here after learning a little more. I still have the same opinions, but I also got some information from people on Twitter. Got into a back and forth with actually a radio guy, Travis Demers. Demers. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Either way, I don't listen to the radio, but I'll just ask you first. I haven't heard I've heard your opinions. I feel like I know your opinions, but you haven't really give your detailed opinions. It was more just oh, this sucks.
Yeah, I think that if if as a fan, I'd rather have Phil
Wait,
Knight.
should you paint the picture first, just what it is? It's basically Jody Allen has the team. Phil Knight's trying to buy it. Phil Knight's not getting an answer from Jody really at all. Jody's not
Yes.
explaining why she
Okay.
selects him.
Yeah. Phil Knight and a don't forget his name, but a
Alan
guy who has
Smolinski.
he has a minority stake in the Dodgers. They want to buy the Blazers so they can. So they want to buy the Blazers from Jody Allen, for many reasons. Number one, they
Oh,
want
one
to
second.
secure.
PC, can you give my audio decibels a little more, please? Yeah. Thank you. Go ahead.
They want to buy the Blazers from Jody, Phil Knight, and the guy who owns a minority stake in the Dodgers, which his name is
Alan Smolinski. Fun
correct.
name to say.
Yes, and they want to do that for many reasons. They want to secure the team's future in Portland, because the Moda Center lease ends in 2025, and nothing has been renegotiated yet. Number two, they want to kind of rebuild and revitalize the downtown area surrounding Moda Center because they want to create, more jobs, more kind of like the Battery in Atlanta. They kind of want to do it with that, which is great. Look at the Braves. The Braves are doing great right now.
Go watch our vlog.
And
we need that.
above all, they want to win. And Phil Knight.
Yeah. I'm going to say it. The kicker is here's the kicker.
And the kicker is
they want to 85.
Win. They are willing to
win now.
Phil Knight wants to see a championship in his lifetime. But here's the real kicker. Jody Allen won't respond, or anyone from whatever you call it. What's their Vulcan or whatever it's called. And we can get into what Paul Allen's estate says. And, it does say he wants to sell the team for charitable and have everything go to charity, but it doesn't say when. And Jody is free to own the team as long as she sees fit. You want my opinions now?
What was that?
You want my opinions now?
Yeah.
All right. Opinions. Well, as a Blazer fan, I want Jody Allen to sell the team to Phil Knight.
And I think that's honestly like
that. It's nothing against Jody.
Look, I think even before Jody Allen owned the team, I think if you said, who would you rather own the team, Jody Allen or Phil Knight, you're going to take Phil Knight because he started Nike and we saw what he did with the Oregon athletic program. And
I just watched
everything he touches
Air.
turns to good. And yeah, we just watched Air. I mentioned that.
Yeah. So
I'd rather on top of it, we see what Jody hasn't done. Go ahead.
Sorry, you cut out a little bit, but we're here. Yeah, you said something about what Jody hasn't done.
Yeah, on top of what Phil is great with, Jody is not.
Yes, Jody. Jody seems ambivalent. She seems a little nonchalant. She just seems she doesn't have that passion that her brother did, Paul Allen. It almost seems like owning the team's a little bit of a burden for her. So I don't understand why she doesn't want to sell it. I just feel like it's kind of, we don't know the details. We only know from that article. To me, it seems a little spiteful that they wouldn't even return a phone call or an email or a whatever you want to call it. However they reach out, probably email or through a representative. And she's just kind of not even acknowledging it. At least tell them no. It kind of looks pretty scummy to not even acknowledge, because let's be honest, Phil Knight owning the Blazers would be elite. That would be sick.
Yeah,
especially in a time like now.
He would give us the best facilities. He would, or it's
look at
not
the Oregon
even,
Ducks. Look at Oregon before Nike poured all that money into them.
It's not even just the team. It's just everything about the organization and even more so the city of Portland. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like Jody Allen has done nothing at all.
Of course.
That's where the whole conversation or back and forth I had with Travis Demers last night was with it. They've opened up the scouting department more. They've tried to lean in more with adding more assistant GMs to the staff behind the scenes. They had the G League team. Now, I'm not going to give Jody Allen much credit for that because I think the NBA forced them to have a G League team given they were the last one without it. So I can't even say that's a great thing.
No, look.
And then even things yes, we've been taking the last 4 years, but Jody, there's something where you go in the tax, it limits the amount of spending you can have the next year. So we have the most tax we can have right now. We wouldn't have if we had spent money the last couple of years, but everything with the salary cap so confusing. But
Right.
my main thing is I want an owner that's a little more transparent and a little more vocal. At least I
Mhm.
know I'm probably going to get that with Phil Knight a little bit.
And I think we're also just biased towards Phil Knight, like you said, a little bit just because of what he has done in
Mm-hmm.
the sports apparel and just in sports in general. He's kind of, it just makes so much sense being with Nike in Oregon. And I don't know, it sounds too good to be true.
It really does. How would
Yeah,
Dame react being Adidas?
go to Nike.
Yeah, that would
I'm
be
kidding.
fun.
Adidas. People sign a lifetime contract with Adidas, I bet. I mean, maybe not lifetime, but
Um, I was going to say something else about this whole situation.
well, I'll say one thing. The one thing I'll say is that I don't want to discredit Jody in any way. I'm not calling her a bad owner, so to speak. I just wish that, like you said, she was more vocal and just like respond to the people. Like you're not helping yourself by
And
ignoring them for no
owners don't
reason.
always respond to people, but do it once. Like have one press conference where you are speaking. Again, we're going to compare that. We're doing a lot of golf comparisons today, but Jay Monahan's the same way. He doesn't speak to the media ever. He sticks his players out there to speak. Dame's the one that's the most vocal person in Portland at this point. Not that
Yeah, I
Jody
mean,
should be more than Dame, but like,
I'll give Joe a little credit.
yeah, I like Joe. I like Joe.
Joe a little credit.
Um, but I think she could. I look at her as a so-called cheap owner right now, but she could completely change my mind this summer if she spends. Um,
Yeah, sorry. But I'm on the like I said earlier. There's also just Phil Knight and that guy, which Alex
Smolinski.
Salemsky. They would just revitalize like the economic, just the economy around the Moda Center. Like what happened last time we went to a game,
Yeah,
Cole?
that's why I said refer to vlog over Christmas. The Hornets Blazers game day vlog. Go to the final
Who
five
stepped in it?
minutes. I don't know if anyone
Stepped in
stepped.
it?
I don't know if anyone stepped in it, but
Okay, well we saw it. It was human. It was human
human feces. Human
feces,
dookie.
as we'll say on YouTube.
See?
If you see us not on podcast, you know what we call that.
What?
We can't cuss.
Oh, right. Yeah. YouTube will
YouTube
cut
will
us quickly.
fuck with your head.
Yeah.
So look, that's another very attractive thing to me about that ownership bid. But at the end of the day, like you said, Jody Allen, if she wants to spend this year and this summer, then I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. It's just hard to create a connection with an owner who never shows their face.
Yeah, I really don't care who the owner is as long as they show a little bit of ambition. And from all
Yeah.
accounts, Phil Knight is showing a little more ambition than
But
Jody.
the other thing why I want
And it's Phil Knight.
The other thing why I want Phil Knight is because new owners come in and make a splash. Look at the Suns owner.
Facts. They want to leave their.
They want to look at Steve Ballmer.
Yeah,
That's
Steve
passion.
Ballmer brings
That's
in
passion.
Kawhi and PG.
Like who knows what Phil Knight would do? We could become the
Mets owner, Steve Cohen.
new owners come in to make a splash when they have money and they actually have ties to the city and they want to win a championship. Your team is going to compete no matter how small market you are. The only team that was trying to lose and then accidentally wins because of some brain child is the movie Moneyball. Okay.
Yeah, that's basically what we're doing right now. Joe Cronin is trying to just pull Moneyball because he can't
Trying to pull Moneyball.
You can't win without money, guys. I'm sorry.
That's the way of the world.
At the end of the day,
we might as well make this a golf podcast because money wins, bro. Just look at that.
Money won in golf.
Money wins.
So if you want some more details on the whole Jody Allen, Phil Knight situation, go check out our other video we had. It's the most recent one before this, or just go check out the article on the Wall Street Journal. I guess this is more personal, but it's the only other I don't really have much more on my agenda unless you have something else. I want to talk just like Blazers Twitter right now and just Twitter in general and why I just love Instagram so much more and love the Blazers Instagram because for the most part on our Rip City Run on Instagram, that is there to break Blazer related news. Now our Twitter is where you're going to see our opinion a little more. Obviously, our opinion is on the YouTube channel the most, but in any form of like quick opinions, you'll find that on Twitter, and just like, you can't win. You never can get people to fully agree. It's just unfortunate. It really is.
That's kind of the.
I guess that's the world.
That's just the world, honestly. Twitter's kind of a microcosm of the world.
Actually, I guess no, we did not touch this thing. I just had it coupled with something else, but we never actually touched it.
We'll push the Twitter convo.
Push the Twitter to the off the trail segment. Reports from Jake Fisher say that Shaedon Sharpe is untouchable when it comes to packages with a third pick.
Do you believe that?
I don't think that's breaking news. I don't think, like, unless we're trading for Embiid, we're not. None of the players that we're targeting warrant Sharpe and Scoot.
I mean, Siakam probably does.
No, I don't think he does.
Well, Masai thinks he does.
Yeah, Masai thinks he does. Now, I've seen people saying that 3 could be even too much for Siakam, which I think might be a little wild.
Hey, if you see that, anyone listening to this, if you see 3 first-round picks might be too much for Siakam, retweet that, get it flowing. Come on, I'm just gonna say it right now. Fans have more power than they realize, in a way.
Yeah,
because everyone's trying to appease the fans. Like, Masai's not trying to get fleeced and then get run out of town like Nick Nurse did. So,
I don't think that means Shaedon's untouchable completely. That's just they're not packaging the two together. But yeah,
that the Maple Mamba.
Does that mean anything to you? No.
That Shaedon's
Are you all in on Sharpe next year? Like, you want him starting? Do you want him to come off the bench? Where are you? I don't even know where you stand on Sharpe. I know Cody loves Sharpe.
I think ideally I want him to start next to Dame. And I want him to be the 5th option.
Wow.
Because we have a bona fide 3 and a little bit of a better 5. Like, Sharpe and the 5 are kind of on the same option. But it's Dame, our Jaylen Brown / Siakam / Mikhail, and our Jeremy.
Dude, I have no clue who's going to be our starting 5.
Is it Nurk? Do we want to talk about that? I feel like we
pipe down.
I feel like we poop on this dude all the time. I'm not here to poop on Nurk today.
Yeah, we're not going on a Nurk rant, but like, all signs point to him. At the end of the day, the most likely thing is the team stays the exact same. That's just the reality.
Which is just a doomsday scenario to me.
Now, we can agree that something is going to change.
Actually, what is more doomsday to you? Keeping the same team or adding like 2 like vet men guys like Nick Stauskas and Whiteside again? I think that's more worse.
Well, okay. Would you rather? I thought you were going a different route. Would you rather keep the same team or trade Dame?
Keep the same team.
Yeah, I can't trade.
I'm not trading Dame. I will never agree to trade Dame.
Yeah, I won't either.
But that doesn't mean that it can't happen. Like, when it happens, I'll just be like, well, that happened. I'm not gonna be like, yes.
Dude, chill. PC's producer Cash. For those that don't know,
he's walking around, isn't he?
Yeah, he's talking about it's a bad shot. It's a bad shot.
I think he's coming over here.
Yeah. I think that obviously let's go back to that 5 talk. I don't know what else there is to say about it, but like,
do we want to talk about the thing you saw with Dame, the podcast?
I guess we could. I just don't know. I don't really know what the details of that would like. What I saw, it's literally just he was saying the grass, what he always says, the grass isn't always greener. I'm going to need producer Cash to stop now because he's getting on my nerves.
Yeah.
I lost my train of thought.
Dame's podcast.
Yeah, I saw the clip. It honestly isn't that big of a deal. It's just he's saying like, well, if I get traded, what's the guarantee that I'm going to be playing in the finals or in June? And why would I not just do it here?
The grass is not always greener on the other side.
Yeah.
How many times?
Dude, I feel like it's like the 2 weeks before the lottery when like we just kept recycling. What if the Blazers get the first pick? What if they get the 3rd pick? What if they get the 5th pick? What pick will the Blazers get? It's the same thing now. It's like, will they trade it? Will they draft it? Like, there's no new information that can come out.
What's the problem with Twitter?
There's no new information that can come out. Yeah, I guess we're gonna transition just off the trail. I just
No,
don't like Twitter because like I don't think I can put out a tweet of my opinion without someone
well,
hating on
that's
it.
just the world so get
And
used to
people,
that.
if I have a take, people are like, "Well, I said that take first," or
I know exactly what you're
that's a
talking
bad
about.
take. That's a terrible take." It's just like it's opinion based. You don't have to agree with everything. I mean, I guess you can. It's not a bad thing to voice your opinion, but I feel like everyone can agree Jody's not a good owner. At least she's not a like she might not be a bad owner, but she's not a
Dude,
good owner.
dude, if we're doing like
For
she's not in the
ranking
top
owners,
half.
she's
She's not
not
in the top half of owners. She's just not.
exactly.
She's probably not even in the top 20. She's just not.
I just like I guess you
Like that
come
doesn't
to the
mean she's a
defense.
bad doesn't mean she's a bad person. It doesn't mean she doesn't want to see the well, it might mean she doesn't want to see the
Guys,
team win.
she didn't even like she just got Blazers just fell in her lap. It's not like she like was ambitious and wanted to go buy the Blazers and like
Pax, dude, where's the passion?
I miss Paul,
Like,
man.
dude, I miss Paul. I miss him sitting courtside there. I mean, although Jody does sit courtside,
Well, I can appreciate that.
she sits in her brother's seat, which is very nice, or next to it. I'm not sure. But
I'm not sure either.
look, I get why, yeah, that Twitter can be exhausting just because, people just, you say something brilliant, or not even brilliant. You just say something that it's an opinion, and they're like, oh,
I
I
don't
said
even
this.
like tweeting at this point.
I said this 2 months ago. Like, snaps for him. Snaps for him. Like,
Look,
dude,
I don't want
you're sick.
I'll give them a shout out because I think they're great. The only other Blazer media I watch is Jack Ramsey's. So
I agree.
there might be times where I regurgitate their thoughts. I learned a lot from them as well. That's the only Blazer media I watch because it's too much. You can't take in the same thing from multiple different people. So
I agree.
there's a lot of Blazer media out there, and there's going to be crossing of opinions and crossing of takes, and you just gotta. I mean, if you want to go support all of them, you can. I just think that could be a little unhealthy, just because that's putting way too much time in the Blazers at the end of the day.
Oh, talking too much time. We got it. I think we know. We know who's whatever. Doesn't matter. Okay. Thank you, Cole. Thank you for that. For that discussion. After show.
Yeah.
All right. First thing I want to talk about. We were having this conversation off camera, and I said he wasn't, and you said he was. It's Jaylen Brown top 20.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of it's actually not wild the more we talk about it, but
Do I need to name him?
I don't think the difference between the 15th best player and the 20th best player is like
It is when you say he's not top
I
20.
hate ranking players. I'll tier them. I'll rank top 10 because I think like that's where you can actually but like once you get past 10, it's just like I'm gonna put you in a tier. Jaylen Brown's in the same tier as a
Brandon Ingram.
Sure. I think he's a little better, but he can be in the same tier. He's in the same tier as Pascal Siakam. He's in the same tier as who?
Shea.
Yeah, I think he's in the same tier as Shea.
Same tier as like Zion.
Yeah.
Like basically tier 2.
Yeah, like well, it depends on like obviously like I think Jokic is on a different tier than Dame probably.
Well, there's okay, fine.
Tier A.
He's tier 3. You have like ultra
He's like your top
elite,
5.
like your top 5. Then you have superstar. Then you have star. He's a star.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I don't think Brandon Ingram.
Wait, who's in your upper like above superstar?
I think it would be Jokic, Giannis, Steph, maybe.
Embiid or no?
I don't think Embiid can be in it anymore.
Anymore. He just won MVP.
Yeah, but like he was in it. He wasn't in it before the season. He jumped in it during the season and he fell back out because like you can't lower your play in the playoffs.
Oh, fair.
I think like Embiid is on the same tier as like honestly Luka, Tatum, KD. I'm not going to put Jimmy Butler in that tier, even though he does raise his game a lot. But
Dame, is Dame in that? Is Dame in the Luka tier?
The same tier as a Dame.
Sorry.
Well, Dame's in that tier, but like I would say, like if there was a tier, a part of the superstar category, I'd probably put Embiid on a higher tier than Dame and Jimmy Butler. But I don't know.
Okay, so let me get this straight. So your top 10 would look something like this. In no order, but it would be like Giannis, Jokic, Steph, Embiid, uh Tatum,
KD, Luca,
Luka, sorry,
KD.
KD. Then it'd be like we're at
Then
8
you
now.
then you get into like the Dame. I'm so missing some Kawhi.
D
He's
Mitch,
healthy. I think Dame's better than Donovan Mitchell. LeBron
Booker,
still,
Booker,
honestly. I
AD,
think I think Dame's better than
PG,
Booker and
Jimmy Butler,
maybe AD. I'm missing somebody. I know I am. Um,
Ja.
yeah, no. I
No.
guess Jaw's like the same as Booker and D Mitch. I think Dame is just a tad better than all those like young guards, other than Luca.
Siakam.
Nah. Siakam is then when you get down to like the Jaylen Brown, Siakam, Shea. Maybe Shea is in like the Donovan Mitchell tier, but I don't know. I've never seen him play in the playoffs.
Who else? Who else is De'Aaron Fox in that Jaylen Brown tier? Anthony Edwards in that tier?
Maybe, but I would still like similar to how like technically I have
Is
Embiid at the
Jalen
same tier
Brunson
as
in that
Dame. I
tier?
think Embiid is better now. Look, there's so many good players, and this is why like I hate talking about ranking players. But we had the conversation, and
Do you think Mikal Bridges is in that tier?
if he did what he did last year again this year, then sure.
Sure.
Um,
Okay.
man, I wanted
Interesting.
Mikal Bridges on my team. It's unbelievable.
Hey,
Contract is so good.
um, let's talk about Live and PGA Tour.
You want to?
I do. I'm gonna hold the mic because we're both um avid golf fans. I
We
would say
just went
you
to a tournament.
definitely,
Just
huh?
went to a PGA Tour tournament.
We did, but I would say that we both been into golf most of our lives, watching majors. No, well, we probably rooted for Tiger back then, maybe even Phil back in the early 2010s. Once I went to college, I really got into the sport playing wise, and you were right a few years behind me. I mean, you've recently gotten into it, and you consume content like nobody's business, which is good. But you said something earlier. You were just like, sucks that I'm getting into this game and this is what's going on.
I mean, maybe it sucks, but maybe it's a good thing because I feel like golf is at in a sense, an all-time high of popularity. I got it. I again always watch majors, always was watching it, but I got into like watching golf majority of the weeks, literally about a year ago this time in the summer, when the whole live thing was starting to pop off.
So yeah,
Um, and now I probably anytime there's unless it's like a literal dog water PGA Tour tournament, I'm probably watching it. If not, at
like
least
the Zurich.
like even the Zurich, I tuned it on Sunday, the 3M when Tony Finau was skinning mules.
You're probably talking about the Punta Cana
Yeah, I'm not watching the Punta Cana or the Barracuda,
or the Barbasol or whatever.
but I did volunteer at the RSM, so that would be a low tier event. But yeah, it sucks right now. Kind of sucks that all my well, take that back. I would say all my teams suck, but obviously the Braves won a championship. I feel like we've never talked about our teams, who we like,
Should
what
I
teams we root
should we
for.
go
I don't
through
know.
them
We
here?
could kind of we could run through each sport. I know we were talking about golf. Well, let's start with golf. Like who do you root for in golf?
All right, I can give you a top five in golf.
Give me top five. No order,
All
I
right,
guess.
no order. Jordan Spieth for sure.
Yep.
Max Homa
Yep.
for sure.
Yep.
Scotty Scheffler.
Oh, you really
Scheffler.
like Sheffield?
I like Scheffler. Um, at this point, give me Rory. Rory's in the top five just because of what he's done. It's more just like I want to say I'm a fan of his for when he finally gets when he gets another major because that'll be awesome. I can't say Tiger probably because he's
We'll eliminate Tiger. I think Tiger.
yeah,
I think we
can't
all
Tiger
love.
doesn't count. The last one is tough. It'll probably be JT, honestly. I'm a big American guy. Rory's
You
in
are
there.
American.
Other guys that I just like who suck. I really like Joel Damon. From the PGA
He
doc. I
sucks.
thought he's just a nice guy. But those are my five.
Yeah. I'll go Spieth. I'll go Homa. I'll go Rory. I'll go. This is gonna be
Sahith.
interesting. Like, I
Sahith.
love Sahith, Tagala. I love Ricky Fowler.
Tony.
No, I like Tony though. I think right now I'll throw in Sahith and Ricky, Sahith and Ricky, whichever way you want to pronounce them on this certain week. I don't know, but there's like we both like if I'm talking like the lowest of low golfers, I'm a Carson Young guy,
What are you doing?
Clemson
You got
guy,
Clemson?
Clemson guy. Standard Baird for him at
Go
the
Tigers.
RSM. That was pretty fun. But yeah, that's golf. Okay, let's get into the main sports. Football. I'm a Panthers fan. Always been my whole life. And
Thoughts on Bryce?
I'm excited for Bryce. Got his jersey. Should have been wearing it in this pod.
Shut up. That'd be funny. I'm
But
a
yeah,
Giants fan.
so back to the point I made right before we started doing this. But like my teams have been kind of tough recently. Like Panthers and Blazers had both been consistently good through my preteen, early teenage years, and then both ever since 2019 have stunk. I guess the Blazers were okay in 2020 and pretty good in 2021, but like haven't seen them win a championship obviously either. So
Um, so NFL, I'm a New York Giants fan. Love me some Danny Dimes. NBA, I'm actually a Portland Trailblazers fan, surprisingly. Die Hard. What are you doing?
Cam.
Okay. And the MLB, I can just say it for us. We both support the Atlanta Braves.
Oh, we love the Braves. See, that's the one team that's been successful. I think the only team that's been successful.
And for then the last one, we don't really do. I mean, we like watching hockey, but we're not big into hockey. Another one is MLS. We support the Timbers.
Obviously.
Portland Timbers. Here
And
we go.
the Atlanta United. So I guess Atlanta United had success, so maybe we're
And Portland.
and that's a good point. I guess it's just my two favorite teams are the Braves and or not the Braves, the Blazers and the Panthers. So maybe that's where
And then we're in a NASCAR.
Yeah.
William Byron.
NASCAR.
We are in a NASCAR, William Byron.
What else
was
am
I
I
gonna
going
say?
to know?
No, I was gonna say something.
Any F1 guys?
No. No.
Yeah,
F1 is so
stinks.
boring to watch, which is funny because I just said I watch NASCAR. But
Yeah, at least you get some passing in NASCAR.
oh, I know what I was gonna ask you. And then I played soccer all of high school. As a young kid too, but then I like stopped for a little bit, but then got back into it. And I am a big United States U.S. men's national team. I think that's very fair to say. Huh? United States of America. So yeah. I will ask you this, Cole. Start bench cut. Teams you want to win a championship.
Yeah.
U.S. men's national team at the World Cup. The Portland Trailblazers finally have a parade. It's a parade in Zama City. And the Carolina Panthers.
I'm cutting the USA, unfortunately.
It's foul. It's
foul. I'm on the Blazers and I'm benching the Panthers. Sole reason for the Blazers one is because of this channel, honestly.
I'm starting Portland too, but honestly,
even though I literally reside, I don't know, maybe Panthers. That would be sick because I go to a lot of Panthers games. I don't know.
Look, I'm taking the U.S. Blazers, I'm starting the Blazers and I'm benching the U.S. because I've seen 2 Super Bowls in my lifetime with New York, so I'll stop with that one.
Can we go through each team you like and tell me your favorite moment from that team?
Ooh, all right.
We'll start with the Blazers. Just what's your favorite moment from your history of watching the Blazers?
Like watching live, or because I didn't see the Dame bad shot live?
That can't be one of mine. I think my favorite memory, truly watching the Blazers, the one that comes to instant is just that Nugget series, combined with obviously not the 2021 series, combined with the watching game three, the 4 overtime game and staying up until 3:00 in the morning watching that, and then game 7, like.
Yeah, for all y'all, we're on the East Coast. During the season, it's rough out here trying to stay up for these games.
It's a grind.
Favorite
I think that's first instinct what comes to mind.
Honestly, it's either that or the this was like regular season game, 2018 maybe. Dame against the Suns had that putback dunk. It's in the intro.
Intro. Damian Lillard, you have
He had
done
a
it
putback
again.
dunk, and then he like had a game-winning like bucket on Booker. That was sick. Um, 4 overtime game though for sure. Or actually, Dame shot against the Rockets because I will be honest, I cried because I was about 13 years old. I cried when Parsons put in with 9 tenths left, and then of course
The
my
reason I don't say
mother,
that is because we were
who I
watching.
love very much.
The reason I don't say that one is because we were watching the next morning. It was like we didn't know what happened, but
I mean, it's still memory.
no, yeah, that's true. But I'll take the Nuggets series. Football. This is when I don't know. Do you have a football one? Comes to your mind first thing?
Football. Probably in the room over there in the old media room watching Gronk drop that pass in the end zone for the Giants win the Super Bowl.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Or I could say being there for Super Bowl 42, but I don't remember that much.
I think what I will go with is Panthers. Like week 14 game early December against the Vikings in attendance. We win. Pushes us to like at that point probably like 11-4. Big time Cam run down the stretch, like 60-yard run to put us in field goal range. But honestly, there's probably better moments. I can't think on the top of my mind right now what it would be for that. Braves, though, is game 6 of the NLCS when we won that game. Because me and PC were at that game.
I could not say that.
Electric.
Mine was it's close. It's probably either Brooks Conrad's Grand Slam.
Wow. That's a deep cut.
I was watching that with Gone.
I remember that.
And Cash.
Probably some meaningless regular season game.
Yeah, but
I
it's
remember
sick.
that too.
Or I was at the lake with my friends in the Brewers series and just like watching it with them.
That was pretty hype too. MLS, I feel like I know what yours is, even though they didn't win.
It was recent.
A Timbers goal.
So Cody wasn't here tonight. But Cody and I went to MLS Cup last year or the year before when Portland played NYCFC in the freezing cold rain. So just a proper cup final. It's proper. But
yeah,
again, they didn't win, unfortunately.
I guess mine would be Sebastian Blanco's goal against Sporting KC.
That was tough. That
was again, it's 1 a.m. in the morning and we don't want to scream and wake people up. We're just like
low key, my favorite memory is going to the first ever one at Geldwin Field against the Bulls, and we have the keys out and we're yelling, "Go home, you bums!" Like that was just like my first like interaction with the Timbers Army and seeing Will Johnson just have one in warm-ups, just blasted just 20 rows deep.
We spelled Ryan Johnson. That was Valeri's first game.
That bike.
Oh, it's so close.
Freaking Silvestre.
Silvestre.
He's so bad that game.
NASCAR mem? Murray? No. I don't remember
watching.
What was that?
I said I don't remember much from the previous era of when we watched NASCAR.
Yeah, I don't either. I know we went to.
So give me being in person for Byron's win at Homestead.
I got one. I think you would rather have, even though it wasn't a win. The Bristol race when Byron was getting inside the cut line.
That was good.
Pretty sick.
That was good.
Yeah, I think that's all. Good. Other than there's no more golf. My favorite golf memory, at least in person, is this past tournament because that was the first one.
My favorite golf memory is watching Jordan Spieth win at Chambers Bay.
Oh yeah, that's definitely it.
We still watch that doc.
And if it's not that, it's
Here's the sugar. He's so funny.
It's not that. It's there's nothing recent that comes to mind. But I guess that's enough of that. Hopefully, we end the podcast with this every time. But hopefully it's the Blazers this year. That's going to be my new favorite memory, them winning a championship. That's a classic Cody line.
Oh, yeah. Cody's not here. What? Who's Cody's the Seahawks?
I don't think he's that much of a, I mean, obviously he's like just diehard Blazers and Timbers.
Okay, hey, if you next time Cody posts a video with his face in it or next podcast, I need everyone to comment and roast him for being a Warriors fan prior to like going all in on the Blazers.
Yeah. Now that was pre KD, which is good, but it was like Curry.
Do you remember DeMarcus Russell jersey he got?
He got DeMarcus Russell. I got an A's jersey, I think.
I got Ocho Cinco.
You might have got Ocho Cinco. Wait. We can go through the crazy jerseys I've had. Sheesh. I had a Myers Leonard jersey. Still have it actually in my closet.
Actually, another favorite memory of the Blazers is when we hung up all the jerseys in the basement.
Yeah.
Oh, it's funny.
Watching the Warriors game when Dame hit that shot, watching that one in Portland, the regular season game.
Oh, against the Warriors?
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
Dude,
like
those are great. Those are great. So great.
Yeah.
So great. That's all I have.
I'm not going to lie. I feel like if the Blazers make a crazy move on the draft, this could go down as one of the more memorable nights of my fandom. But
the Braves.
We'll have to wait. We'll have to wait.
Speaking of being Braves fans, they took the lead.
Really?
We're up 5-4.
Love that. Well, we're going to end it off there. Make sure to comment what you want us to talk about next week. And
hey, comment below if you do prize picks. I need some locks.
Look, well, we are not going to do our best bet in my bookie because I don't want to. Right now,
I agree. We got to get it right.
We're on such a hot streak. So genuinely, if you are interested in sports betting, use our promo code RIPCity at MyBookie. Cody uses MyBookie. It's great. I've used it in the past. I don't use it now because Cody's been doing the majority of the betting for our best bets, but we're in the green and we are giving out our best bets for, as you're watching this, tonight's NBA Finals game. So go to our Instagram, go to our Twitter, and see those best bets because we've been hot. We've been hot. With that being said, that'll do it for the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to give it 5 stars if you're listening on Spotify, and we'll see you in the next one.